Hi there, Dr. Evan Anton here, and I just want to answer a question that I get on a very regular basis on social media. I get this multiple times every single day, and that is, what do I have to do to become a vet and do what you do? And I think that's so cool that so many people are super interested in what I do as a veterinarian and want to work with all these crazy exotic species and reptiles and birds and wildlife. I think that's just awesome that there's so many people on board with wanting to do that. I wish I could answer you guys every day. It's just a matter of time, and working as a full-time vet is not easy. So what I want to do in this video is just talk about my recommendations. So I get people asking me that are in middle school, high school, college, second career in their 30s, 40s, 50s. So I really get it across the board. So I'll just kind of start with some of the younger guys. So if you're in high school and you're interested in becoming a vet, the best thing you can do is crush it in school. Get awesome grades. That is extremely important. You want colleges to take you seriously and perhaps even get scholarships, and that's going to be the best way to go ahead about doing that. Now, in doing so, you also want to take consider taking certain courses. That's going to look really good for colleges, and I think vet schools are going to appreciate it too if you take some of the AP advanced placement courses, like I don't know if it's AP chemistry, physics, bio, some of those ones you might have available at your high school. If you go to a school that has those kinds of options or live in a country that has those kinds of options, it's a great way to knock out some credits in your undergrad as well, some of the basic lower division credits. So that's number one. Number two, and this is really for the bulk of everyone, it's good grades and animal experience. And so whether that's experience, there's all kinds of ways to get animal experience. That could be with a veterinarian. That's obviously extremely important if you want to be a vet. So spend time in your town working with a local vet. Perhaps one that sees exotics or whatever group of animal that you want to work with, whether it's horses or mixed animal or an all-cat practice, whatever. I mean, there's different options. And so try to spend time in those hospitals and with those vets. And that's going to give you two things. It's going to give you, number one, experience, which looks awesome for your resume. Number two, it's actually going to give you a hands-on approach to seeing whether or not this is maybe a field you want to get into. Some people, they go and they volunteer at vet hospitals. They're like, man, I don't know if I can handle surgery. I don't know if I can handle blood and guts. I don't know if I can handle euthanasia and dealing with truly sick pets and putting pets down. That's a big part of the job. I don't post about it often, but it's something we do on a regular basis. So those are the two best pieces of advice I can give you. Get awesome grades. If you're in college or going into college, obviously take all your veterinary prerequisite courses. So that's going to be all your science courses, bio, physics, chemistry, OChem, probably biochem, all that stuff. You're going to have to knock that out, and then get experience. So not only does it have to be with the vet, the experience could also be in a research setting. I've done some of that, and I'll go into that here in a second. It could be, in food animal production if you're into that. I mean, there's really all kinds of ways to get animal experience. Just do it with a quality professional and try to get in good with them. And another thing to tackle with that is that you might get a letter of recommendation. And that's also important when applying for certain college programs and, of course, when applying for vet school. So those are things to consider. And a couple other things that you do want to keep in mind when applying to vet school that are not as important as experience and grades. Again, those are by far the two most important things, no question about it. And that one is the GRE, so it's a standardized test. Everybody's got to take it if you want to go to vet school. I hear there's an essay section now. I got to avoid that one, so good luck for all you guys doing that. And it's kind of like SAT, cracked out, just, a little bit more advanced math, writing, science, stuff like that. And the other thing is, and I brought this up a second ago, is letters of recommendation. So this is getting letters and people in the veterinary field or in the animal world that are vouching for you, and they're saying, hey, this guy's hardworking and he's really passionate and he's willing to learn. He or she is, just trying to, get to the next step and making every effort to do so, and I really think they're going to be a good candidate for vet school. And that's what you want them saying, so that's what you want to prove to them when you spend time with them. So that's kind of the basic keys to getting into vet school, and any guidance counselor should be able to help you out. If you're in any kind of a college program especially, you should have some kind of counselor that should give you an idea of where you need to go in terms of classwork wise, and then you need to be proactive and make your own time to spend time with veterinarians and whatnot. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself and my history in terms of becoming a vet. I've always loved animals. I grew up by a creek as a little kid. I was catching frogs and snakes and turtles and stuff like that in Kansas. And I got kind of involved. I loved the social scene and playing sports growing up. And then later in high school, I really got reconnected with my animal roots. And so I was out catching snakes all the time and doing all that all over again. I went to University of Colorado Boulder. Actually started as a business major, and shortly thereafter changed to a bio major, as evolutionary and ecological biology, and just fell in love with science all over again. I always had appreciation for medicine. And to be honest, I wasn't one of those kids where I was 7 years old and knew I wanted to be a vet. I knew I always wanted to work with animals. I didn't always know I wanted to be a vet. And that was really crystal clear in my second year of undergrad. I was like, I love working with my hands and surgery. I love medicine. I love animals. Like, this is the perfect profession for me. And I love exotics too. And this is an opportunity to work with all kinds of animals and dogs and cats, which I've always grown up with and loved too. So that really made sense. And that's when I realized that at 19 years old, I was like, all right, I'm going to do everything I can to get to that point. I'm going to take all the prereqs I need to get. I'm going to get awesome experience. So I spent time with a couple of researchers. One guy doing snake constriction at CU. I did a little bit of a project helping out with something else with rattlesnake natural history and geographic kind of location of their lifestyle. We were doing some late radio telemetry stuff. That was cool. Like I said, I took all the classes. I spent time. I was an intern at a wildlife rehabilitation sanctuary. That was a really valuable experience. I really liked that. And every time I traveled, which I did a lot of throughout pretty much the second half of undergrad all the way up to present day. I mean, the last like 10, 12 years I've been traveling pretty regularly. And when I do so, and even before vet school, I would try to volunteer at wildlife rescues around the world. So whether I was in Indonesia or Panama or Africa or whatever, I would try to just get involved somewhere and help out animals there. I mean, it looks good for your resume, obviously, but it's awesome experience. And again, it kind of gets your feet wet and shows you, is this something I want to do, or maybe you just fall in love with it and just know it's your passion. It's where you're going to go. So yeah, I made every effort to do that. I was a veterinary technician after vet school for a bit, after undergrad for a bit. I didn't get into CSU, my first pick, the first time I applied, and they're like, your grades are good, you got good standardized test scores, you just need more experience on top of what I had. So I went and I was a tech for like 6 or 8 months, got a bunch of experience there. I worked there full time at a hospital, and then I was a personal trainer for a year before vet school, and doing something fun like that in between schools is something I highly recommend if you have time and you're patient and you're not in a huge rush to get through your career. So that was really worthwhile. I loved it. I'm so happy I didn't get it my first time, and I was a trainer. That really set down the foundation of my fitness routine and whatnot to this day. Anyways, then I got into school, and even in school, when I was traveling, I was spending time at wildlife rescues. When I was in school, I knew I wanted to do exotics. Some people change their mind in school. Some people know exactly what they want to do. I had a pretty good idea what I wanted to do. So every exotic elective that was available, I took it. So whether it was, lower vertebrate medicine like fish, birds, reptiles, small mammals, all that stuff, I took everything that I could. I did the exotics rotation at CSU probably more than anybody in my class. I think it was like 3 or 4 times just my third year. You do externships your fourth year. Your fourth year of vet school is a clinical year, and so that means you're spending time on clinics at your vet school, or you're going to other vet schools or other hospitals or zoos or what have you. So what I did is I went to a zoo. I went to the San Antonio Zoo in Texas, had an awesome externship. The doctor there was great. He's double board in reptile medicine and zoo medicine, so I was like, this guy's perfect, I love reptiles. And then I spent time at an all exotics private practice in Arizona Exotic Animal Hospital. They are awesome. They do great work. Dr. Johnson's a real sharp guy, and he's a reptile pro. So I got some awesome experience there. What else? That's really, that was the key, just getting aggressive about getting experience. Now, getting the job that I have, this is kind of another note, but honestly, it's all about being proactive. It's all about making this happen yourself. Nobody's going to hand it to you. Vet school's super hard. The work to get in is super hard. I mean, I feel like that's probably obvious, but you have to be proactive. You have to put yourself out there. So my fourth year of vet school, I knew I wanted to work somewhere in Southern California, and so what I did was I made 2 different trips out to Southern California, and I would visit hospitals, and I thought this might be somewhere I want to work. And so my thought was, at least I'll just get my foot in the door. I'll meet all the exotic vets in the area and get a handle for what it's like to kind of practice down here and just do some like day and half day visits at a dozen hospitals each time I come out. So I visited over 20 hospitals. I met a lot of vets that see exotics, and that was my priority. I wanted to be a decent hospital, sees exotic animals. And as multi-doctor practice, so I'm not stuck there alone my first year out. No, you don't want to do that. And it was great. I mean, it was wonderful. I met a ton of people, and I met the practice manager of the current hospital that I'm working and have been working since I graduated high school, Conejo Valley Vet Hospital. I've been very happy there. We have an awesome practice. We're the only huge practice I know that's a general practice. We're open 24/7, and we see exotics on a regular basis. My caseload is probably 30 to 40% exotic, sometimes more any given day. And of course, we see wildlife too, which very few hospitals are licensed to see wildlife. Anyways, I mean, so that's about it. That's me. Those are my recommendations for getting into vet school. Again, it is hard work. It's dedication. It's putting your social life on hold at times. I mean, I can't tell you how many nights I wanted to go out or things I wanted to do, and I was like, I got to study for this test. If I don't, I'm not going to get the grade I want. I'm not going to get the professional career that I want to pursue. So making that commitment's just absolutely imperative. And when you know, and that's my advice for you. Best of luck to everybody that thinks they want to be in the veterinary world, whether that's being working as a receptionist at a vet hospital, or being a vet assistant, or a veterinary technician, or a veterinarian. My wishes are for the best of luck for all you guys. Thank you so much for following me and taking an interest in what I do. Our career is amazing. It really is so special and can be so gratifying. It can be super stressful, emotional, rough, long hours too, but at the end of the day, I'm still every day very proud to say what I do, and I really believe in it, and I think that's really cool if you guys are interested in that kind of thing too. So again, best of luck. Thanks for watching. Sorry it's a long video, and you guys take care. All right.